well at this track.
Row 9, they're talking a lot about this guy right here, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Got a pretty good car today. Jeremy Mayfield on the outside.
Row 10, Johnny Benson and Carl Long.
See Mike Bliss on the inside of row 11. Reed Sorensen from here in Atlanta, 19 years old on the outside.
Row 12, Matt Kenseth on the inside, and on the outside, Jeff Gordon, last week's winner in Martinsville.
Row 13, Denny Hamlin, who's had some outstanding runs in that 11 car. He's next to Bobby Hamilton.
Row 14, a couple of guys I think could figure in the victory. Joe Nemechek on the inside, Jamie McMurray on the outside.
Row 15, got Ricky Rudd on the inside, driving the 21 car through the woods, and Kurt Busch on the outside.
Row 16, Kevin Harvick will have to drop to the rear of the field for an engine change, and Rusty Wallace, the deepest of all the guys in the chase.
Row 17, interesting. Sterling Marlin on the inside will be driving the 10 car that's on the outside of it next year. Scott Riggs in the 10.
Row 18, Bobby Labonte on the inside. Outside, Scott Wimmer.
Michael Waltrip starts 37th. Not a great qualifying car. They expect to be better today. He's next to Casey Mears.
Row 20, getting near the end. Kyle Petty on the inside. Travis Kvapil on the outside.
Starting 41st, Jeff Burton. On the outside, Ken Schrader.
And the 43rd starter is Bobby Hamilton Jr. in a car that was qualified by Chad Chapin and also had the number 92 on it. So he runs it as a 32. And Hamilton Jr., the driver, starts 43rd. And you can see a lot of guys here that did not make the field, including Robbie Gordon, Boris Said, Jimmy Spencer, Mike Wallace, J.J. Yaley. Ryan Newman bringing them to the green flag, and the chase continues at Atlanta. Elliott Sadler in the gas early on the inside of Ryan Newman, who might lose a position to Mark Martin as well.
Carl Edwards dusting the wall off turn 2.
Tony Stewart predicted they'd use the whole track here. So far they have. And we haven't even got a mile and a half.
Well, that's a great thing about this racetrack, as you can see there was grip up there, even though they were in the dirt.
So Sadler leads the first lap. Ryan Newman from the pole doesn't even get the 5 bonus points for leading lap number 1. He and Mark back and battling for third.
And evidently NASCAR, they are viewing that as a legal pass. And he did not pass before the start-finish line, and that's the rule, that you can't pass before the start-finish line. Now all of a sudden Carl Edwards put some heavy pressure on Elliott Sadler.
And Edwards would like the 5 bonus points for leading a lap. He's a driver in the chase. The 10 drivers in yellow on the ticker at the top of the screen. The 10 men eligible for the Nextel Cup Championship. Edwards with a pass to the lead.
Don't overdo it, baby. Take care of your stuff.
I think that's Bobby Hudson, the spotter for Carl Edwards.
Tell you what, Newman just doesn't look like he's got the handle on his car just yet. Here goes Casey Kane on the high side, making the pass, and here comes Stewart right behind Newman, and he's going to lose another spot.
Allen.
Hey, Bill, Ryan Newman just came on his radio as he was screaming into turn 1, said 2 words: loose, loose.
Not a good thing here to be loose. Really are carrying so much speed down into these corners right here. If you're loose, you can't turn the steering wheel. You have to actually turn it to the right, go up the racetrack so the car won't spin out on you. It's a really tough place to drive when you're loose.
I was in the 38 truck this morning as the guys were talking about the race, and that's the concern that they had. How loose was the car going to be the first part of the race? They were making some adjustments. What adjustments do we make for the first 100 miles? Because that problem that Ryan Newman has will get better as time progresses.
The car will get better. The car should go away. Dave?
Tony Stewart's car looks very good right now, but he's fighting a tendency to want to lead and get 5 bonus points or save his stuff a little bit. Greg Zipadelli, his crew chief, told me this morning that when they tested here, one thing they found was that if they go easy a little bit early, they can have a great end of the run, saving their tires.
And that's what they told me this morning, Dave, the 20 crew, that their car was not blinding fast for the first 5 or 6 laps, but after that, when everyone settled in, their car was as fast as anyone.
We got a guy up on the wall, turn 2.
A couple of cars involved, turn 2.
They're still crashing.
There, boys.
Yeah, it looked like, I was watching up there, and it looked like a right front tire blew on whatever car that was that hit the wall first. It might have been Skinner.
And it's Kevin LePage in the 66. Did I hear something about a flat tire?
I think Skinner blew a right front tire because he shot way up the racetrack. He was down low.
And here's the disadvantage of qualifying far back in the field. Rusty Wallace, one of the contenders for the Nextel Cup, clearly got a big piece of this.
Watch the green car. He's down low. See, right there, Mike loses a tire, and he just goes, I don't know how he got through that without being run over, but right front tire definitely went down on that car.
And he just touches the 66 as he goes uphill, just barely touches the left rear of the 66. And I guess Rusty's going to come along and run into the 66, would be my guess.
Nowhere to go.
Good guess.
Boy, third straight week Rusty Wallace has had trouble. The previous two have been late in the race. This is early. We're only 6 laps in.
Watch the car right ahead, down on the bottom. That's Skinner. There he goes up the racetrack.
Keep coming. Keep coming. Yellow's up behind.
Sigh of relief for a driver when drives through something like that.
Pit road open early. We'll see who decides to come and who stays out. Track position will be huge. The leader stayed out, and everybody else coming to pit road.
Now, the leader came in. Carl is in, 38. Elliott Sadler stays out.
Elliott Sadler, who led on the first lap, down to pit road.
Well, Bill Biffle predicted this. Greg Biffle, he came on the radio and said, this track is so slick, everybody's going to pit because we're sliding all over the place. No changes to the chassis. Dave.
Changes for Mark Martin's chassis. Car very loose. They made a chassis adjustment already. 4 tires. He leaves. Matt.
Carl Edwards says his car is great, just barely neutral, and he's down and away. Allen.
Matt Moreland just made the call. Just right side tires for Ryan Newman. They want to keep that track position up front.
So Ryan Newman leads the parade off of pit road. Mark Martin leads 30 laps into the Bass Pro Shops MBNA 500. Had a good run here 1 year ago. Came home second.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the second place car was seemed to be a little faster than Mark when went to break, but that lead has stabilized.
Let's take you through the field. Dave Burns.
And Bill, if you like Mark Martin in 2005, how about one more year? Announced this week that Mark Martin will definitely run this car in 2006. AAA will be the sponsor. It'll be the 18th consecutive season for Mark in Cup racing. Alan?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. says that to keep that gas pedal on the floor here in Atlanta, it takes guts on the part of a driver. I say it also takes a good car. He's got one of those right now. He's up to second, man.
Carl Edwards trying to sweep Atlanta. 2005, currently runs in the 3rd position, running lap times that mirror leader Mark Martin. Now he says when he moved up on the racetrack to a different groove, the car went from loose to neutral. Dave?
Tony Stewart radioed on lap 18. The car is a tick tight but drivable. He made no comments when the car's 88, the 8 car, and the 99 passed him. As for Jeff Gordon, coming up next, on his pit stop, they didn't change anything on the car. The car was a little bit loose in 1 and 2, a little bit tight in 3 and 4. Marty.
Greg Biffle told us how much he loves this racetrack. He restarted with 4 fresh tires in 14th. He's in 6th right now. They keep telling him on the radio, you're as fast as that 8 car, and that 8 car is awfully good. Nice run for Dave Laney early on. About half of the laps he's ever led in the Cup Series have been at this racetrack. A little loose in, tight in the middle. He's going to try some different lines. Matt?
Elliott Sadler, the LA driver who didn't pit under the last caution. Now, he is settled in the 8th position. Now, he's been searching around, which is the great thing about Atlanta. If your car doesn't handle well on the bottom, you can move up to the middle or even the high side. The car a little tight in the middle. Free on exit. Snyder.
Kyle Busch won the Craftsman Truck Series yesterday race, Matt, and today he's trying to win his 2nd Cup Series race. Currently, he's in 9th. He says the car is a little loose getting into the corners, but tight in the middle, and he likes that tight. That's the direction he wants to go in the next position. Kyle actually up in the 8th position. Matt Kenseth is up in the 9th position right now. He started 23rd today, actually in 10th. The car has been a little loose for Matt, but he's not unhappy with it. Said he likes the low line. That's where he'd like to stay for most of the day. Kurt Busch started 30th today, the same car he finished 2nd with at Charlotte 2 weeks ago. Loose into 3, but a little bit tight in the middle of the corner. Happy with where the chassis is right now. Thinks it'll get tighter the longer he runs. Alan?
Ryan Newman is talking aerodynamics inside his Dodge. He says when he gets a car directly in front of him, he can't do anything. He used the phrase, "It kills me when any car's in front of me." Newman just 2 tires on his stop back to 12th, Matt.
Brian Vickers Allen would love to add his name to the list of first-time winners in 2005. Runs in the 13th position. The car is tight on entry, tight in the middle, and tight on early exit. But he is having a solid day trying to put this car in victory lane like Jerry Nadeau did, scoring his first career win right here at Atlanta. Dave?
Jamie McMurray in the 42 car. He said his car is good, but it was sliding and nothing they really wanted to change on it, so they didn't make any chassis adjustments. Just gave him 4 fresh tires. Alan?
This is a research day for Martin Truex Jr. Not anything particular on the car, but a day for this team to figure out what they need to do to compete at the Nextel Cup level next season. Truex and his Busch Series team going Cup racing next year. Jimmy Johnson has picked up a couple of spots after sliding back from the pit stops. Johnson looking for track conditions to come to him. Expect more adjustments on the next stop for the 48 car. Dave?
Mike Bliss running the 0 car right now. They made a 4-tire change on that first stop. Mike not going to be back in this car next year, trying to have a good run here at Atlanta. Alan?
Ricky Rudd used the phrase "hook loose" to try and describe his car's handling to crew chief Michael McSwain, then said, "It's really kind of hard to explain what our car's doing." Rudd hanging in there in the 19th spot. He started 29th. He's moved up. Marty?
Alan, back on lap 7, Michael Waltrip chose not to pit. They're paying for that now. Car sliding all over the place. Michael says it feels like the right front's not even working on this car. He's trying to stay on the bottom, but having a tough time doing it. Matt?
Rounding out the top 20 is the 40 car, Sterling Marlin. He's never won here at Atlanta as his time in the 40 car comes to a close. 3 more races to go after this weekend. Now the car was loose on the first run. They made an air pressure adjustment. It has leveled off.
Another chase contender, Jerry Mayfield, did not make any changes to his chassis on the first stop. Just radioed in on lap 34. The car was having a little trouble turning, was sliding the nose of that car. Expect some adjustments next time.
Thanks, guys. There are 36 cars running on the lead lap. Mark Martin, the race leader. 40 laps are complete. Mark has led 21 of them. Biffle leads. Ricky Rudd took 2 right side tires. He runs second. Then it's Earnhardt Jr.
Oh, look at Casey Mears at 41 car. Just blown by the leader, Craig Biffle.
I think a lot of cars are probably going to do that.
And the 41 car, Jimmy Elliott, your crew chief, not here today. Brian Patty. Earnhardt, crew chief on the 41. What Earnhardt do?
He's flying.
Going by for second spot. Going by Rudd.
Kyle Busch won the truck race here yesterday by taking tires with just a handful of laps to go. Proved to be a huge difference.
Look at what 4 tires do on a car after 7 laps.
Now, we talked about it. After Biffle got his 5 bonus points, he could have come down pit road and restarted back about 20th.
He's going to wish he had about 15 or 20 laps if it goes green.
Because he's going to be 20th.
Yeah, because he's just going to keep sliding back.
Marty?
Hey guys, one good point about that is that Biffle could have tried that because twice today they've come from the back to the front. Biffle thought about it, but they said, you know what, let's just stay out just a handful of laps on those tires and see what happens. Maybe a little strategy for later in the race.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see.
That strategy didn't work out yesterday. That's Matt Kenseth in that 17 car. He's trying to get under the 99, Matt.
And his teammate is on the outside. The 17 gets by as well as the 6 trying to work him on the bottom as well. Edwards said on Friday, this is a pivotal weekend for his championship chances. 5th in the points, 149 markers out. Has to have a great Carl Edwards kind of Atlanta. 1st and 3rd in his 2 starts here, but he's already looking ahead to the finish, and that's exactly what he told his crew chief Bob Osborne a little earlier.
Smart thing on easy on the tires, Carl. They will come to us in the long run, baby.
I got a trick up my sleeve for when we really need it, so we'll just get ourselves in position. We're going to be all right, guys.
4, bud, you're doing the right thing. You got to be smooth here. Got to keep those tires on it. Right rear was just worn out, but it wasn't like it chunked out. It just wore down.
A trick up his sleeve.
You got to get a trick to get through this mess back there.
Yeah, let's Tell you what, I mean, Jeff Gordon is running much better in that 24 car than he has been on this type of racetrack in 2005. So that test this week at Texas Motor Speedway looks like it helped the 24 car quite a bit.
And that is Matt Kenseth in that 17 car. Normally the yellow DeWalt colors. USG sheetrock today for Matt.
Martin's going to try to take a look underneath the 17 of Kenseth. Just to get that spot away, and got it.
3 Roush cars in a row there. 6 of Martin, 17 of Kenseth, 99 of Edwards. Just an update from the garage. Kurt Busch has, for the moment, declined our invitation for an interview. Certainly very disappointed with what has happened after crashing out earlier. They continue to work on that car. Rusty Wallace and Jeremy Mayfield, 2 other chasers on the track. Wallace 60 laps down, Jeremy Mayfield 97 laps down.
Both those Roush cars blow by the 17 of Kenseth.
Kyle Busch in the 5, looking to the high side of Kenseth. Nothing there now, but there might be in a minute. Nope, Matt's going to slam the door.
And Harvick at 29 is a couple laps down. I think he had an unscheduled stop earlier in the race.
He certainly did. Remember, Kenseth started this race, rolled off of pit road for the pace laps without that right side window in the car. Had to come back and get that. Did that before the race went green and got his starting spot back.
But that, he didn't get a good reading on his tach for this pit road speed limit, which is 45 miles per hour today. And so the second or third pit stop he made, NASCAR nailed him for exceeding that speed on pit road.
Similar situation for Mark Martin, who got tagged with a speeding penalty when he was leading the race. He's worked his way from 26th to 6th, chasing Jeff Gordon.
Look at all the different lines here.
I'm telling you, it's great, isn't it?
And that's what enhances the finish here, that you can find the line that works best for you to set up your charge to the checkered flag. Dave?
Bill, this is one of the tracks at which Jeff Gordon tested. Talked to crew chief Steve Letarte, and he said, you know, we really worked on big picture things here, the aerodynamics of our car. We didn't tweak on the setup too much. We did that when we got here on Friday during practice, and they've come pretty close.
Thanks, Dave. Jeff off the win last week at Martinsville. Mark Martin to the inside. Mark did clinch the IROC championship yesterday. Final race of the season for IROC, run here yesterday afternoon. Won by Martin Truex Jr.
And Mark Martin was the overall champion. Wasn't that about $1 million bonus?
Not about. It was $1 million.
Oh, boy.
It's Jimmy Johnson, the 48.
And we would expect to see the 48 car up front, but he has struggled, currently running in the 9th position. And the strange thing is the 42 cars between he and Tony Stewart.
Stewart back in 11th.
Well, look at this. Mark Martin going underneath Biffle.
Ricky Rudd in the 21 car is the 2nd place car. Took 2 right side tires.
I think that's going to be Mark Martin when he gets back to the start-finish line. Oh, I don't know. Biffle about to lose another spot to Carl Edwards in 99.
Oh, right up high. That allows Gordon and Mark to sneak down underneath.
Meanwhile, Junior is over 4 seconds in front of this group.
Starts off good.
Yeah, while these guys finally start getting their cars after 8, 9, 10 laps start coming in, like we talked about earlier, Junior's car goes right from the green flag, and he makes up so much time, it's hard to catch him.
Jeff Gordon, a 4-time winner here. Mark Martin has 2 victories in Atlanta. Mark gets the position. Mark Martin going to try and do something about it right here.
They keep adjusting on these cars. Mark's car, the 17 of Kenseth, 99.
they look to be getting a little bit better.
Mark wanted his car a little bit tighter, so his car is a little bit too free still. So they made an adjustment. See if they got anything for the 8.
Trying to clear the lap cars. Martin gets past Harvick.
And Edwards goes by Kenseth on the outside. Now Biffle's up on the outside of Kenseth. All of a sudden the 7th, and here comes Jeff Gordon right in the middle.
That's a cool shot.
That is. How does it look the other way when you're looking from the driver's
Looks
seat?
pretty cool.
All of a sudden the 17 car going the wrong direction.
Gordon for position as they cross the start-finish line. Marty on Greg Biffle.
On his last stop, they were a little too tight, so they made an air pressure adjustment on the 16 car. But Greg has lost track position every time on pit road, and he asks his crew, why is this happening?
Amazing how Carl could pass guys on the inside on pit road. I don't understand. Clearly wasn't even close to the 17. They must have a different pit road speed than us.
And remember, Matt Kenseth did not get a good tachometer reading early in the race, so they're wondering if that may be what is happening. If he doesn't have a good tachometer read, he's going to have a different pit road speed than Greg Biffle does. That's why he got passed by the 17 on pit road.
And Marty, we talked about it going to break. The 6, the 17, the 99 almost always together coming off of pit road, and Mark's not really confident in his original pit road speed either. Biffle's car's not what it was.
Yeah, Biffle's car looks loose to me right now. He's having a hard time keeping the rear end of that car underneath him.
Jeff Gordon, the 24 car, gets by. 17 Kenseth trying his best to get by. And right behind this guy, Jimmy Johnson. They continue to get that 48 car towards the front. Right in 7th now.
They do a great job of that, making that car better and better as the race goes along. Taking a page out of Gordon's book. Chad Knaus' crew chief, Jimmy Johnson the driver.
That's why these guys are going for the championship every single year, because they can do that, Alan.
Yeah, and Wally, Bill was sort of talking about this just a second ago, but this has been a trademark of this team for the last couple of years. How many times have we seen them struggle at the beginning of the race, continue to adjust on their car, and end up in the top 5 at the end of the day? They're having another one of those days today, and that's what you have to do down the stretch to stay in contention for this championship.
And Alan, in this race a year ago, they hung in there when Mark had the best car and led the most laps, and Jimmy led like 17 and got the lead late through that sequence of pit stops, but they were in the right place, right time.
Yeah, he didn't lead a lot of laps in this race last year. They made the right strategy call at the end, and again, kept adjusting their car to meet the conditions as they changed throughout the day. I mean, look at those shadows the cars are running in now. That makes the car grip differently than it did earlier in the race when the bright sun was in turns 1 and 2.
It's a good thing Matt had just enough grip there, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he needed all that shade up there to keep getting on the side of that 24 car.
Couple of former champions. Gordon, a 4-time champ of that 24 car. Matt Kenseth, former series champion, driver the 17. Dave Burns on Jeff Gordon.
Having a pretty good run today. Talked to Steve Letarte just a couple of pit stops ago, and he said, imagine us running in the top 10 at an intermediate track. He's pretty happy about that. They made a little adjustment on that last stop, because when Jeff would push the throttle pedal down, the car wanted to push toward the wall.
And I think that win at Martinsville will give them some added confidence here in these final 4 races of the season.
Plus those 2 days of testing in Texas this week.
Yeah, the aero program that they were talking about working on, that's real important on these racetracks, obviously. Here and next week at Texas and also Homestead. Boy, you've got to have a good car aerodynamically.
Carl Edwards, 99 to 2nd spot, and they're not that far behind the 8. There he is, the leader. Hey, Matt, has Carl Edwards used that trick yet, do you think?
He hasn't used it yet, BP, but what he has used is the advantages gained off that last air pressure adjustments, more what he needed. And you can tell that the 8 of Junior, which has been the rabbit over the past couple of runs, he hasn't just run off and left at 99. They're getting closer and closer to what Carl needs for the end of the race.
Now Junior goes to the bottom this lap. He's been running that high line. Now he's searching to see if there's something else. He can see Carl Edwards in his mirror catching him. So now Junior's going to move around a little bit and see if he can find something that's a little bit quicker than the 99. But boy, Carl is coming.
Looking down low.
Whoa, man. That 99 gets loose again off of turn 2.
Now into 3. Now Junior down low and Edwards up high.
Now watch the momentum, though, the 99 car will have getting off the corner here.
Now, is he going to run high or low down in turn 1? Let's see.
Depends what Junior does. He's going to stay with him.
Follow him this time. Mark Martin is right behind this in 3rd.
Remember here last year, down the backstretch, Carl Edwards and the 8 car Dale Earnhardt Jr. made contact, and Junior went down, hit the inside wall, and ruined his chances of being the NASCAR Nextel Cup champion.
Look at that car come now. He's running the high line, and look at all the momentum he carried.
Down low. Edwards really digging.
Don't think he's going to have enough. He's going to slide up there.
Thank goodness there was a little bit grip in that shaded area that Alan was talking about.
Yeah, good thing the throttle works in the other direction, too, because 99 had to get off the gas there.
And Mark Martin is right there. For a start finish.
See, Edwards led that lap.
You only know that because of the computer.
Well, that's exactly right. I looked up to see who led, and the computer said Edwards. But my eyes said Junior is back. It's right.
Mark Martin trying down low.
Get up beside somebody in the corner, especially if you run the low line. But it's just hard to, when you're getting off the corner, if you run that low line, it's just hard to make a pass because you need to drift up all the way to the wall of the racetrack. And if there's somebody on the outside of you, you have to let off the gas a little bit.
This is a fun place to watch a race.
Junior.
Carl Edwards up high, Junior down low. Mark looking to pull up on Junior's bumper. Edwards clearly leads this time. Junior may want to follow him for a while.
See what he's doing differently than he is. We can see what Mark Martin is doing differently than Junior, running the very bottom of the racetrack.
Ryan Newman in the 12, but a lap down by Carl Edwards. Ryan Newman started on the pole.
Look at that. No winners from the pole. Last 17 races. That's amazing.
It is. So 48 to go.
There we see the second place car, Jeff Gordon. There's third place, Mark Martin.
About 45 laps on this set of tires. It's our last caution. Looking at about 10 laps, maybe 15. Before guys might start thinking about coming down pit road.
And this will be their last adjustment. Right, Alan? They've got a hit on it this time unless the caution comes out.
Well, and actually, Wally, they're hoping for both. They'd like to see the caution because that will allow them to close the deficit they have now to Carl Edwards. Then they can take a swing at that adjustment and basically restart even with everyone for the final sprint to the finish. Now they've got to make the adjustment and catch up all the distance. Marty?
Alan, meantime, Matt Kenseth just asked his crew, how long do I have to stay on these tires? Something does not feel right in the front tires, specifically the right front tire. So he's asking questions about how long do I have to stay out here? Because, you know, Wally, if you're a driver, you know, if you think something's going wrong, you want to stay out, you don't want to pit, and certainly have a tire that's actually up thinking it's going down.
Yeah, that's what these guys are. I mean, when you feel something like that, normally you're feeling it for a reason, like something is happening, but you don't want to be wrong because you can throw the championship away if you're wrong, and then you've got to live with yourself on that.
Matt currently 7th in the championship standings. 5th on the track.
He's about 10 seconds behind Carl Edwards, his teammate.
Edwards leads by 6 seconds over Jeff Gordon. Then it's another 3 seconds back to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
But on the other hand, you know, they could come in and if they're in their window, go ahead and make their pit stop.
Kind of afraid to do that because you don't want the caution to catch you, right?
Check this out. Check this out. There's a leader. The 99 car, Carl Edwards, looks at the car directly in front of him.
Jimmy Johnson. Johnson is the last car on the lead lap in the 16th position. Started 12th.
Boy, Jimmy's car did not look good through 1 and 2.
Allen.
Hey, Bill, you guys are talking about pit strategy and so on, especially for some of these guys going a lap down. Used to be, as soon as that leader went by a car like Jimmy Johnson in this kind of a race that looks like it's running green for a while, you'd come to pit road now because the fresh tires would give you a speed advantage, and by the time the green flag stops cycle out, you'd probably be back ahead of the leader. Now with the lucky dog, Jimmy Johnson is still in better position by staying on the track, hoping he remains the first car lap down, and then gets a caution. Plus, we've seen these cautions fairly frequently today. I think if I were gambling, I'd be gambling on another yellow flag versus a green run to the finish, don't you?
Yes. And the other thing about that is now, as fast as Edwards is, caution comes out. Good call, AB.
You're welcome.
So this will be our 9th caution in the Bass Pro Shops MBNA 500. Caution for debris in turn 1.
Valve broke.
Somebody said a valve broke. Did I hear that? I guess that was the 49 Ken Schrader. Yes, he's been limping around on 7 cylinders for some time.
He's 6 laps down. Just to make it official, Jimmy Johnson is the lucky dog.
Plastic bottle.
Huge break for Jimmy because he's going to come around. He's only going to be in 15th or 16th spot.
Oh, now that's
There
a
we
piece
go.
of metal. Oh, yeah.
That
Good
looks
call.
like one of those pieces that they were talking about earlier on the 12 car, doesn't it? Doesn't that look like that may be too big for the... Oh, so he just ran it over.
Mercy goodness. Hope that wasn't. Well, they're going to stop and change tires. Thank goodness.
But this caution helps everybody except Carl Edwards.
Yes. He'd love to see this thing go green the rest of the way and everyone make green flag stops. That's not going to happen now. But they can make it from here the rest of the way. They might be slipping and sliding a little bit at the end, but
When you're saying they can make it, they can easily make it on fuel, but the tire wear could make the last handful of laps pretty interesting. So Edwards, Gordon, Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Kenseth, Biffle, Stewart, Jeff Burton, Jamie McMurray, Elliott Sadler, the top 10. Carl won the race here in the spring.
get a little drink.
Boy, these adjustments are real important right now. AB was talking about this guy right here. They needed a yellow to erase that 8-second gap between him and the leader. Well, he's got that now, so they just need to make the right adjustment.
And we'll also point out speeding penalties have been a factor today. We'll see what happens during this pit sequence. Do not speed and stay out of the grass.
And look at the big gap, though, Carl's got on the next place guy for a pit stop.
Marty.
Maybe the last time these cars see pit road all day long. The 17 team has had terrific stops all afternoon. Matt said don't touch a thing other than the tires feeling a little shaky. Car was perfect. Dave?
Mark Martin needs his car to be a little bit tighter. They're going to make the same adjustment that made the car too tight before. We'll see if it works, Matt.
Edward gets his final tear-off off. No changes for the 99. The car a little tight, but then ends on the free side, AB.
I just asked Tony Gurry Jr. if this would be a big chassis adjustment he'd make on this pit stop. He said no, just a little. He doesn't think he's that far off. 4 tires. Looked like they had a little bit of a hiccup there, just getting him away from the box.
Carl Edwards wins the race off of pit road. And it looked like Kenseth came out second. Jeff Gordon trying to go back-to-back off the win at Martinsville. Jeff Cook, Jackman with the crew cam. See what happens. 40 laps to go at Atlanta. Carl Edwards has hog-tied the field. Matt?
Bill, and this is the kind of run he needed. Now he hasn't had a top 5 since he finished 3rd at Kansas, and he's been the deepest today, 24th, but he spent much of today running in the top 3. What a great job he's doing. Bobby Hudson, a spotter, is telling him the lines that Jeff Gordon is trying to move around to see if he can close it in the 99, and so far it hasn't helped.
Good job by the driver, by the spotter, and by the crew on pit road. Here are the guys that got him off first under the caution.
Bob Osborne, Chester, Pennsylvania.
My name is Shannon Keys, and I'm from Byron, Georgia.
DJ Kopp, Ontario, New York.
Tracy Duncan, Lincoln, North Carolina. Trent Davis, Vail, North Carolina.
Jason Myers, Arvada, Colorado.
Joe Karasinski, Spotswood, New Jersey.
Eric Slade, Hillsdale, Michigan.
Wayne Deloria, Biddeford, Maine. Now Hickory, North Carolina.
And fellas, you're going to get nervous because when you look behind you, that 24 car is getting closer and closer to the 99.
The last 3 laps, Gordon's been faster than the leader.
Let's try and zip through the field, starting with the 99 car. Matt.
And really, Bill, for the first time in the last 4 stops, on his last stop, Carl Edwards, they didn't make any adjustments to that 99 car. They feel like they have it where they need it, but that 24 looks like he's starting to slowly close in, Dave.
It does appear that way, Matt, and if he can get up there and pass the 99 and be the leader at the final lap, it would be the 9th win for car owner Rick Hendrick. Jeff Gordon on a tear today, Alan.
After some of the struggles they've had in the last few weeks, Dale Earnhardt Jr. said one of his goals for today was just to bring the car home in one piece. They're probably going to accomplish that, but he's going to probably be awfully disappointed as well to have run that strong and not win. Dave?
Alan, during the last run, Mark Martin said, you know, the balance of this car is okay. I'm just not as fast as these guys. Still trying to make time on it, though, Marty.
Well, Dave, Mark Martin or Matt Kenseth has raced his car 3 times this year. The worst it's finished is 7th. Currently, Matt is 5th, and the car a little too loose for him. Greg Biffle, his teammate, made several changes on the last stop. His car was crazy loose, he called it. Now, guess what? The car too tight. It just won't turn in the middle of the corner, Alan.
What a drive for Jeff Burton today. He took the green flag in 41st position. Easy to get lapped when we had some of those green flag runs earlier. Was fast enough not only to stay on the lead lap, he's worked his way all the way up into 7th. Dave?
Jamie McMurray started 28th today, quickly worked his way up to the top 10, has remained there most of the day and continues to run, now in the 8th position.
And Elliott Sadler, a 38 car, has had a good car today. He lost that lap early, got the lucky dog. Now he runs just inside the top 10. Now they made an air pressure adjustment to try to fix the loose on entry, but it is still loose on entry, Dave.
Championship leader coming into today, Tony Stewart, said, I need to roll through the center of the corner better. They made an air pressure adjustment on the last stop to try to correct that. Marty?
Well, Dave, this has been a nice rally for Kyle Busch. Remember, he had the right front fender damage earlier, ran out in the grass earlier, had a penalty, so they've gone to the back of the field, come to the front. He's in 11th right now, just told the crew the car feels comfortable. Michael Waltrip started 37th today. This team has worked very hard on the race car, trying to get the 11th position from Kyle Busch. The car has been a little bit loose on this one for Michael Waltrip. Dale Jarrett talked about a team working on a race car today. Several changes to the car. They've gotten it better throughout the afternoon. Currently, he's in 13th. When he gets behind other cars, the car gets very, very aerotight. Dave?
Mike Bliss with a very fast race car today. Only a pit road penalty and the decision to stay out and lead 1 lap and start at the end of the line have kept him out of the top 10. Matt?
Ryan Vickers in the 25 car. Now, a big issue he had earlier in the race was the car was just way too tight in the center. Now, they have fixed that. But the other problem he's got now, the car is just way too free up off the corner, Alan. He just can't get in the gas when he needs to.
Well, we saw Jimmy Johnson get put a lap down by the leaders just before that last yellow, catch the caution flag and get the lucky dog pass to get back on the lead lap. A pit stop and some adjustments, hoping to run up through and maybe gain a few spots. Now he restarted 16th. He's hanging in 16th right now. Right, I would say at this point, just trying to stay there and finish.
Johnson, the last car on the lead lap. As far as the other chasers are concerned, Ryan Newman is 21st, a couple of laps down. Kurt Busch, Rusty Wallace, Jeremy Mayfield all run outside the top 35, more than 50 laps down. Rusty involved in an early wreck. Kurt lost a tire, hit the wall. Jeremy had some mechanical issues, put him into the garage for repairs.
And these fellas, 8, 9, 10, I think we could say goodbye to them in 2005 as far as the NASCAR Nextel Cup is concerned.
3 races remaining after today.
Got Mark Mark Martin is sneaking up on the back of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car for third spot.
These were two of the guys everybody was talking about in the garage this morning. 6th Mark, the 8 of Earnhardt.
And Jeff Gordon in second spot has stopped gaining on Carl Edwards.
It's 2.3 seconds now back to Gordon.
There's Mark on the bottom. Looks like he's going to take that spot away.
And that's 5 more points for Martin in the chase for the Nextel Cup. To go now.
And for a lot of these guys, the end of this race can't come too soon.
Last driver to sweep both races here in Atlanta, Bill Elliott, 1992.
And the sweep has become fashionable. You know, Jimmy Johnson did it at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Last week, Jeff Gordon did it at Martinsville, and here we are this week. Looks like it could happen again.
Well, in 1999, Tony Stewart is a rookie. Won 3 races. In 2002, Jimmy Johnson won 3. Edwards already has wins at Atlanta and Pocono. This is his first full season in Nextel Cup.
He's not actually the bestest rookie in Nextel Cup because he ran too many races in 2004, but I think in most everyone's mind, he's a rookie. As a matter of fact, he is a rookie in the NASCAR Cup Series.
In fact, but
not here.
But you applaud that decision to put him in that car for the 10 races at the end of last year, because look at the dividends it's paying this year.
I think it was a wonderful idea, yes. And you saw the points just a moment ago. Biffle's could gain a few points on Tony Stewart today, but he wants, if at all possible, to stay in front of this 42 and 31.
Biffle slides a little bit right up there at the top of the racetrack. Then may have been all that McMurray needed.
He's there taking a look on the inside.
Jamie down low.
Does he have him clear? No.
Those are precious points Biffle's battling for right now.
Biffle's having a hard time getting through 1 and 2
in the shade.
He pulls up beside him again.
Looks like every lap he gets just a little bit closer.
Marty, is Biffle having some trouble up there in 1 and 2?
He's doing all he can do to hang on to the race car while he's extremely tight right now for Biffle. You see Jamie McMurray goes around him. He actually moved up the racetrack when the made the race car tighter to try and block McMurray as best he could, but he still couldn't keep the 42 behind him.
Yeah, he couldn't get too much further up the top of the racetrack in the last couple laps in 1 and 2. He was way up there.
Up front, Edwards by about 3 seconds over Jeff Gordon. Another 2.5 seconds back to Mark Martin.
And Biffle now has to be concerned with Jeff Burton. Can he keep that 31 car behind him for the next couple laps, 3 laps?
As these laps unfold, you can see the contenders for the Nextel Cup Championship highlighted in yellow on the ticker at the top of the screen.
Bobby Hudson talking to his driver, Carl Edwards, in the 99 car.
There's Carl.
Carl is just so much faster than everybody right now. He's on cruise and flying.
I don't know if he pulled that trick.
Pass anybody if you don't want to, baby. Just be smooth. 3 seconds back.
Car owner Jack Roush has 5 drivers in the 10-man chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. White flag for Carl Edwards. Has just been a pleasure to work with throughout the season. A lot of charm, a lot of determination to the Nextel Cup Series.
He has been a breath of fresh air.
Came here in Atlanta, won the Busch race. Came back the next day, won the Nextel Cup race. Benny talked about it. Sweeps have become in fashion here in the Nextel Cup Series, and Carl Edwards Edwards sweeps at Atlanta. You know what the fans are waiting for? Carl is stopped at the start-finish line. And this is his trademark. Third time this year in the Nextel Cup Series. NASCAR officials trying to back everybody up. Burns taught him everything he knows about this. Well, maybe not. He's fourth in the chase for the Nextel Cup unofficially, 107 points behind Tony Stewart, tied with Ryan Newman. It's his fifth top 10 finish in the chase.
I see Alan Bestwick.
Yeah, we're okay. Carl was getting ready to get in the car and head for victory lane and take his victory lap. Congratulations.
It's unbelievable. I have the greatest crew. We got Office Depot to victory lane. That means the world to me. Office Depot came on board when we really needed it. Just gotta say hi to Mom and Dad, everybody at home, all my friends and family. I've been a little bit hard to live with the last few weeks, but it's just the greatest day, man. It's unbelievable.
A couple things. You talked about a trick on the radio midway through the race. Want to let us in?
No, I'm not telling you what it is, but we have a great race car. It's unbelievable. It's just so much fun. Man, we're going to go testing tomorrow with the new cars, and that's what we need. We need to do this for 3 more weeks, and we'll be all right.
You're fourth in the championship, 107 points out of the lead. Thoughts there?
I just got to thank Bob Osborne, Jack Roush, everyone in the motor department. The engines in these cars are unbelievable. But most of all the folks behind me and the great sponsors. Man, we just got, it's just unbelievable. This is great.
Thanks, Carl. Carl Edwards has gotten his third win of this season.